It's okay.
Cool. What's up, everybody? How we doing?
Good. We'll just call you Rosie.
Okay. Well, we have some other people jumping on here, but it's already 10:02. So for anyone who maybe hasn't joined us on these before, the first Tuesday of every month, we try to do a mastermind and market update. And so we do those with George and Josh. George is going to give you from like the agent perspective, might go into Altos or George, however you want to do it. Josh is going to give us the update on the lending and loan side of things, because you can't really have one without the other. They completely coincide. So with that, gentlemen, I'm going to hand it over to you. George, the stage is yours.
Well, I think Josh and I talked yesterday. I think basically he's going to go in first to his slide.
Okay.
Then after he goes, well, we'll kind of intermingle, but I have some altos to go through different markets, what's hot, what's not as hot, and kind of go over inventory levels as well, because that's kind of what we're seeing in today's market this week. At least that's what I'm experiencing, and then we'll kind of open it up to a few other questions to agents that are on here.
Sounds good. Thank you. Go for it.
All right, Joshy, you're up.
What is up, everybody? Sorry for being pink. I will not be pink the next time, but we're going to take it off a video of me and switch it over to a couple slides here in a minute. But a couple things. One of the things I wanted to really get to or try to improve upon is just going to be overall conversion on leads. The brand, you guys get a ton of leads and you send them over. We love every single lead that you send over. Thank you so much. Super pumped to be working on all of the leads. However, it's a big team process trying to get these leads to convert, right? And the more interaction from the real estate agents when we're trying to get the leads on the phone, trying to get them pre-approved, trying to get their documents in to complete the pre-approval, the better. And what happens is I see some agents will send them over to PGS. Again, stoked, so pumped. I'm not complaining at all. Don't take it that way. And then they just don't get involved in the communication on the setting of the appointment and trying to make sure that we're moving forward. Right. And I've got some stats here that I wanted to review with you guys. I built a bit of a report card that I'm going to, and this is interactive, by the way. I want you guys to share your ideas on how we can, do a better job of converting all these leads as well. But watch this. Here's some cool numbers. In the month of January, the brand Realty referred over to PGS 87 clients. January was huge. There was 87 referrals came in from the brand to PGS Home Loans. That's absolutely fantastic. We're so pumped. Out of the 87 clients that referred over to us, we got 38 of them to take a full and complete application. 38 to take a full and complete application. We had 62 that we actually connected on a phone call. So from 87 referrals, 59 clients actually picked up the phone or replied to a text, right? 38, we convinced them to actually take the full application. And out of the 38 full applications, 21 actually went through the entire pre-approval process and found out if they were approved or denied, right? And then we had 6 funded loans so far from all the leads that came in from the month of January. And we actually have 2 in escrow right now from the leads in January, which is awesome. That's incredible. But if we could get more people to send their documents over and go through the pre-approval process, we could up those numbers and gain even more closings for everybody. Everybody's happy, right? February, we'll talk about February. In February, we had 57 referrals come in from the brand to PGS. Out of 57 referrals, we had 38 that actually connected on a phone call or a text. And that delta there between 57 and 38, that's just, there was no response whatsoever, right? Out of the 38 people that followed up with us, we got 27 to take full applications. Out of the full applications, we ended up with 11 people that were fully pre-approved and ready to go. So far, no funded loans, but we have 3 in escrow. So that's awesome, right? All great numbers. The whole idea is, what can we do to get more people to go forward and complete the full application process and send the documents? And I had a couple ideas I wanted to share with you. And again, this isn't me talking at you. I'd love for you guys to share experiences that you've had in the past or things you saw that worked that would help the rest of the team out, get more people to commit to sending over documents or sending over or doing the full pre-approval process, connecting the phone call. Because it's funny, people are so interested in seeing homes. And then when it comes time to do the loan or talk about loans, they just completely shell up. And a lot of it is because people are scared. They're scared of the whole financial part. They think it's some guy at the bank judging them and their finances, and they just don't want to hear it. And I'm not saying all people are that way. We get that from a lot, right? So what can we do to increase the conversion from every single referral? Number one, here's just some thoughts. When you guys send over a referral, and everybody does it a little bit different. Some of you guys like to do the email, intro saying, hey, Josh, I've got whoever on the email, here's what they're looking to do. Please reach out to them. Some of you prefer text. Hey, Josh, I got this person on text. Some of you just want to say, hey, here's a phone number, here's the voice, or here's a phone number, give them a call. I love the email one. Well, let me step back. I'll take them all. Well, however you want to send referrals, we'll make it happen, right? Thinking of efficiencies, I love the email and text version as the number one, because there's a paper trail, right? Anytime you guys email us with a client on there, I always, or as a team, our process is we're supposed to be emailing them back with you on the email, right? You send a text, we always try to keep you guys on the text because I want you part of the conversation. And so if you send an intro email and it comes back and I do my standard thing, hey, this is Josh Yelsing following up on Sherry's email. Thank you so much. We're happy to help out. Call us, email us, text us, whenever the best time to connect on a call is. If I'm in your guys' spot, I would reply back to that email right away as well. Hey, John. Hey, Tony. This is the lender. Please make sure you're following up with them, right? To me, and I could be wrong, everybody does business differently. I don't think there's a thing as too much follow-up in the beginning of stages when you're trying to get someone to connect, because getting them to connect with the loan officer is a bit of a heat check for the entire process. They have no problem having you guys drive them out to, 10 different homes. Now, if they're serious, they'll get on the phone with a loan officer and start getting, starting the pre-approval process, right? So I think it's such a major pivoting point right there in the transaction to get them to correspond and communicate with the loan officer. So I'd say if we send back an email, send back a text, that would be your cue. Or one thing to consider would be having that be a cue back to you to call them, email them, text them again and say, hey, did you get that email from Josh? Did you see his reply text message? Whatever we got to do to push them to keep moving forward with the conversation, right? And then let's say we do the full application. And then we send the needs list out. You guys all see our needs list that we send out via email, right? Yep, cool. Again, my opinion, a great time to follow up that client on a phone call, email, and text saying, hey, here's the needs list. Do you have any questions? Did you receive the needs list? Do you have any questions about the needs list? When do you think you can get those documents over? Right? And if they don't follow up the next day, that's your cue. If they don't send over the documents the next day, that's your cue again. Hey, you told me you got the needs list. When do you think you're going to get them over? because my team and we're going to be following up on all the emails. We're going to be following up on the text messages, but it helps immensely if you guys get involved and follow up on them as well. It's a real team effort getting them through the pre-approval process. Does that make sense? Any experiences you guys can share that helps with conversions of getting people from that initial introduction to going through the pre-approval process? Any magical words you guys are using?
Really quick, looks like in the chat, Rashia, I always appreciate your participation. She was just saying, a warm hand, like from your agent, is always helpful, especially when it's a new situation. It helps to make your clients more comfortable. So sometimes all they need is that extra nudge, or to know that you're there helping them through this. And that's our job as the agent. And you know, gearing up to make one of the biggest transactions they might make in their life. So Rashia, thank you for sharing. I always appreciate your participation.
She also, I was going to bring it up, and I think Josh, it might have been when you were here last, was she talked about she was one of those buyers when she was buying her first home that I won't tell the story right, Rashia could tell it better, but she didn't want to get pre-approved, and she just looked at homes, fell in love with one of them, and wasn't ready to. She wasn't prepared. Somebody else got the home. She lost it because she wasn't pre-approved.
Yeah.
That's kind of in a nutshell. That's the short version of it. She tells it better, but that's a story that you guys can tell to your clients, and how important it is to get this pre-approval letter, because otherwise you're just looking at homes, but you're not in any position to make an offer. And as the market's clicking up like it is, it's a must. You just have to have it.
And you stole my next bullet point, Gary. Appreciate that.
That's anything for you.
Yeah. Stories are so important. If you guys have a Rolodex full of stories, your top 3, 4, 5 stories that are true and heartfelt and really are there to help your clients, get your stories down. The story, just like Rashia, on going out and then not being able to put an offer in, or it's already gone because they weren't pre-approved. Like those type of heartstring pulling stories are so important in a process like this, because it could get them from not wanting to move forward to the pre-approval to moving forward, right? Any other tools you guys are using to convince people to go through the pre-approval process?
So I was just going to share, because I also, Josh, you're working with one of my clients right now that I know has been a bit more of a challenging one, but, I think anytime as agents that we can create that introduction, being a part of that, whether it's through email or through a phone call or through text, it tells the client, I trust this person that I'm referring you to. Otherwise they're kind of blindly calling somebody they don't know. It's about a personal thing with finances and one of the biggest purchases of their life, as you guys already mentioned. It can be a nerve-wracking thing for them. But as agents, we've kind of already established that trust and relationship, right? Like we're kind of the first person to do that with them if they're not pre-approved. Yeah. And so to then say, hey, Josh and his team is fantastic. I trust them to take great care of you. I'm going to introduce you to them and then let you and him find a great time for you to kind of have a consultation, and let's explore what options are out there to help you accomplish your goals. And then after Josh and his team get involved, with the current client that I've sent to them, I followed up with both Taylor on Josh's team and with my client. I understand that you're working with Taylor and Josh. So how are things going? How can I help you? Do you have any additional questions I can answer? And when we do that, it creates synergy, right? The client sees that PGS Loans and us have a good relationship, and now we're all three working together. And that, can be powerful. That can make a client feel like, okay, I'm in good hands. These guys are working together. They're talking together. I feel good that we can all accomplish this as a team. And I think that can be a really powerful statement to a client as well.
Yeah. So true. Absolutely true. Spot on. Thank you.
One of the things I do, Josh, I've always done it, especially when COVID kicked in, it was always, At that point, they wanted serious buyers only, so you literally had to have a pre-approval before you could even go in and look at the majority of the homes on the market. So I still use that today. I still say, hey, look, I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be a number of homes that you're going to want to see, and they're not going to let us in unless we show a pre-approval and or some cases POF, which is proof of funds. So we need to get you prepped and ready to go. So you're already a step ahead. And if you really want to be a step ahead, you go for the full approval, and that works. But sometimes these out of areas, like the people that are out of the area, it's kind of hard to get them to jump on board, because they're not here. That's the ones I'm having a hard time with.
Yeah. And I totally get it. You're 100% right, Rich. And I know a big part of it too is that it's difficult. It's not like it's some easy task to just get people to move forward with the pre-approval. So when I say that, we can improve conversion, I understand how difficult it is. Wendy, you were raising your hand. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. Can you give us some tools? I'll give you a scenario that I ran into, not last year, but the year before, but it really made for a difficult close of escrow. Midway through the process, I had a pre-approved client whose brother got his license to work as a mortgage broker and wanted to jump ship basically and go with his brother. I convinced him that at this stage of the game, it was very dicey that we should not do that. It might slow things down. We wouldn't be able to close escrow on time. But have you ever encountered that or have any suggestions on how to keep them from thinking, oh, I get a 0.25% better if I work with my brother's company?
Yeah, that great question. It happens. I think loyalty to family can be a difficult one to overcome for sure. What I would say is making sure they understand how to compare. If they're truly looking for the best deal, then it's as easy as comparing line items, line by line, breaking it down, making sure they understand what they're comparing and why. Mm-hmm. Again, that's if they're looking for the best possible deal. We just had a situation last night. I believe it was Sherry's deal. Actually, it was great people. They got the pre-approvals in, done, ready to go. We beat the other lender. We beat their rate. We beat their costs and fees. We know they did because he acknowledged that we did. But his brother was using a gal out in Massachusetts. Oh. And because his brother referred him, they just felt more comfortable, right?
Yeah.
So I'd say in certain situations, Wendy, there's just not much you can do about beating loyalty. And trust me, we tried our best. Like we beat him by 1/8 of a point. We waived our underwriting fee. We know our lender fees were lower. And he's like, yeah, we just feel more comfortable with the lady in a different time zone on the other part of the country.
Yeah, this one was actually a Massachusetts lender.
Oh no,
yeah,
they're all over the place.
I know. But I actually know another agent who said that she writes in the acceptance of an offer and says, and literally says, no substitution of lender will be considered, once we're all the contract's open. So.
Yeah. I think there's lots of tricks, and if you guys want to keep spitting out your tricks on how you get people to get off the pre-approval, I'd appreciate it. But the more we can share, the better off we could be, the more we can convert. But does that help at all? And another item I was going to share with you guys, we have our PGS app. I know I shared it with a lot of you or some of you during the last training. Again, just as a heat check, trying to get people to go and actually start the pre-approval process. If you want to put the app on your phone, and then you can forward the app directly to them via text and say, hey, if you want to get the pre-approval started, here's the app right here. And you can just text it to them, right? Maybe they don't do that at all, but at least you're getting a good idea of where they're at mentally in the process, right? Like, hey, you have an app on your phone that you can start filling out with our preferred lender right now. How do they respond to that? Right. And then maybe, you need to go back, circle around and talk to them a little bit more about the importance of getting pre-approved. So if you guys want the app, let me know. I'll send it over to you in a heartbeat. Another one, if you guys like it and it has control, I can send you the email so that you can email them instructions on how to fill out the online application if you feel that would be a tool for you. I personally don't prefer the online applications. I prefer always to do the applications over the phone. You learn more, you hear more, you can ask additional questions, you can get way more, and you build a rapport when you're doing it over the phone. My idea behind the apps is more just trying to get in front of them, trying to get where their head is about going through the pre-approval process. So if you guys like those ideas, let me know.
That's Hey, Josh, you mentioned about building rapport, and this is something that I mentioned to a lot of the newer agents because I've struggled with at times with some people, especially if they're new, they don't know me. And when I start mentioning about pre-approval, and I could see that they're just like, they don't want to go there. They just want to look at the house. So this is what I do. I know there's other agents that won't take anybody out without a pre-approval, but I will, because I want to get face-to-face with them. That's just me. It's just kind of what I do. So I will meet with them, say on a weekend, show them a couple homes. I'm not going to spend my whole weekend showing them homes without a pre-approval, or I'm not going to do it again after that weekend. So like that weekend, I show them a few homes and say they don't like them, or they do. It doesn't really matter. If they love it, or say they don't like the homes, it's like I still try to build that rapport. I'm talking to them about stuff, and then I'll just tell them like, look, I know you don't really care for these two homes we just looked at, but if you fell in love with one of these homes, we're not in a position at all to write an offer, and somebody else is going to get it. I can steal Rashia's, story if I don't have my own. And any of you guys can do that. Just say another agent of ours, to explain the story or whatever. I would hate for you to miss this. You got to get all your ducks in a row. And hopefully I built that rapport and that trust, because that's half the battle, I think, with a lot of us, is just they just don't trust us, and it takes a while. Sometimes it's all the way through escrow. They're just still like, my uncle's brother's cousin's dog told me this, whatever. Like they just don't have that trust. But again, I'm not going to keep showing them homes. I've done that in the past for weeks on end and realized like they didn't even really qualify. This was a long time ago before the crash and stuff. But yeah, it's just, but like I said, everybody's different. Some people, nope, they won't take anybody out without a pre-approval. That's fine if that's the way you roll. But I just want to build that trust a little bit.
Yeah.
But
and to add to that, Gary, I think that's a great point. The other item I'd say is that we all get super busy during the day. And oftentimes by the end of the day, we feel like it's too late to do the follow-up. One thing that's helped me immensely is doing my follow-up in the morning, first thing. And I think you guys have all, if you've referred me a deal, you've seen emails come across from me at 5:30, 6, 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, because that's when I can guarantee that my follow-up is going to be done. If I get going in the day, life just pulls you so many directions during the day, work stuff, family stuff, whatever. If you don't get your follow-up done early in the morning, the idea that the possibility that you're going to make it happen later in the day, the chances diminish greatly. So if you guys like that idea of getting up, and one of the first things you're doing in the morning is doing all your follow-up from the day before, doing all your follow-up from the week before, checking in, tracking your emails is another great way. I don't know if you guys have an email system where you're plugging all of your emails to a client into a folder. So all you ever have to do is just go to that client's folder. All the emails are in there. That's a great tool to keeping organized, especially when you guys have a lot of leads, a lot of files, and trying to keep all of them organized without a system is pretty tough. So if you don't have a follow-up system or an organizational system, I'd strongly suggest you develop one that helps you stay on top of all your leads, so you're not missing out on anything at all. Any questions on conversion stuff? Anything I can help with? Any questions on our process? Like once they come over, what are we doing? Or anything we can be doing better?
Yeah, Josh, I think this is a great conversation. This is where I have my most fall off, and I can't believe it. Sometimes I have such good relationships with people, and then when it comes time to talk to the lender, they stop answering me as well. So quick question, and then I have two suggestions. Was the conversion rate on your end better when the mortgage rates were better?
I would say the conversion, though, from the numbers you just gave, the conversions were still relatively the same, because you had 87 to 38, 57 to 27, 38 to 21, 27 to 11. So the ratios are still fairly even. So I think they're doing a good job regardless of the rates of converting. It's more We had 6 funded and 2 in escrow in January, and 0 funded but 3 in escrow. So really, you know, you went from 21 to 8 potential closings, and then you went from 11 to 3. So I think the numbers are still there regardless of the interest rates.
Yeah, a great question, Annabelle. Where'd you go? I lost you on that.
Um,
Oh, there you go. Cool. Were the conversion numbers better when rates were lower? I wasn't keeping as good a track as all of our numbers back, 8, 9, 10 months ago as we are now. So my guess would be that they weren't much better. I really don't think they were. I think that the biggest piece on this conversion, I'm going to go back to January, 87 referrals and 54 people connected on the phone. It's that 33 people that we can try to get on the phone to move forward. That's the bigger piece that we got to convert on. Everybody else, like going from 38 that took full applications and 21 was fully pre-approved, I think that's a pretty standard conversion, because the amount of people that are looking for homes that are qualified, there's always people that aren't qualified to buy a home, right? And I think when rates go up, which might be indicative of the February report card, is that maybe they're a little turned off by the payments going up, and that's why we didn't get as many in escrow as we did in January when rates were going down. People saw low 5s and they're like, whoa, this is the best thing ever. So my guess, and we'll find out in the months to come when we're tracking these conversions, is that rate might matter when getting people to accept an offer on a house, but going through the pre-approval process, I would be surprised if that matters. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and then 2 suggestions. I know I've talked to you about this before. We have really great buyers folders that I give to all my clients the first time I meet them. And I think it would be helpful to have a why Josh or why PGS flyer to put in there right from the beginning with all the other information that I'm giving them. Because I know they look over that and I know they like that. So just to have that up front would be great. And then another thing I was thinking, I love your What's Up with the Rate videos. I think they're amazing. And I know that I get a lot of response from video messages. So maybe if you could do like an introduction video so people could see that you're not a scary guy behind a desk and you're actually really fun to talk to. I love to talk to you on the phone. So maybe if we had like a little introduction video, maybe the next time you do like What's Up with the Rates, that we could just text message people so they can get an idea of who they're talking to. I think that might be helpful too.
Yep. So to that point, Annabelle, after we had the conversation, I dug out all of my why Josh Jelsing flyers, and same headshot, so that hasn't changed, but the information needs to be updated. So that's on my to-do list. I'll have that for you. I will make it a goal of having it done by this weekend. Okay. Or at least have it rewritten, and I'll give it to our marketing coordinator. She can touch it up, make it look good, and send it out. And we've got a buyer package as well that I've taken, and I'll send that to you guys. Maybe like it, maybe you don't, but at least you have it. Okay. The video, that's actually something that everybody suggested probably a year ago as well. And I have a couple PGS videos I can send to you guys. If you don't like the content, let me know what we can change. I'm happy to change it anytime. I'm glad you're watching the What's Up with the Rates. If you guys are downloading those rate sheets, don't give them to clients. If you give them to clients, they're going to see the rate sheets, and then they just take that information, they run with it, and they're off to wherever, nowhere land, or looking up things online and then scaring themselves because they're seeing all kinds of stuff online. But print out those rate sheets, have it ready, so when people ask you about rates, you can at least answer intelligently. Any other comments on?
Wendy put something in the chat. How much impact does multiple contacts by other lenders have on a credit score? That might be a way to dissuade a buyer. Yeah, no, I agree. I think, and I was going to bring that up, which that's kind of what I have in the first consultation with the buyer, is if they already have a lender, what I always tell them is, when did you submit your application? You have 45 days to go to any other lender. It's not going to impact your credit score. And something Josh and I actually talked about, or Matt and I don't remember, recently, was that you could even do a loan app without a credit pool and just give them that as a comparison. So they feel a little bit more comfortable, because I know everybody's crazy about credit scores. And then I think another way to kind of, leverage PGS, what I've seen successful with my clients is telling them we have no financial interest in PGS. Like, people think you're pushing them to PGS because you get a kickback or you're affiliated or any of that. It's basically just, no, I just know their service. They have the great rates. They have, impeccable service. You're going to get a call at 8 p.m. on a Wednesday if you need to, or, 5 p.m. on a Saturday. They're going to take care of you. And I think when I tell people that, and that PGS is also going to tell you to go out and get a couple comparisons, I think they feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
Hey, Josh, how much does being pre-approved affect your credit if they don't end up buying?
Great question. And I wanted to add, I'm going to take your question and mix it into George's comments. So a couple things, if you guys knew, we can do soft pulls. So soft pulls, I get all 3 credit scores and we receive all of their liabilities, right, on the credit report. There's no hit to the score at all. Okay. The only thing we can't do with a soft pull is run the automated underwriting system that issues the approval. But, we can get really, really close with a soft pull. We can get pretty darn close with no credit pull whatsoever. So what we do, when, like, for example, Rich Rowell had a client where, super great guy, I forget his name. Anyways, he told me what his debts were over the phone. He just said, hey, here's my car loan, here's my credit cards, here's my personal loan, here's my student loan, here's what I make. He sent all of his income documents and everything. And we got pretty darn close to what an actual pre-approval would be. And we'll do that for any clients all day long. So a credit pull should never be a reason why someone doesn't go through the pre-approval, because we don't need to. We don't have to pull credit. The soft pull is great because there's no inquiry hit whatsoever. It doesn't show up as an inquiry. It doesn't hit your credit scores as an inquiry. And there's no points lost at all. But Annabelle, to answer your question, you said if they don't buy a home and they get pre-approved, is that right? Yeah. So what happens is an inquiry goes on there, or the scores are deducted. It's 2 to 5 points off your score, right? And then after 60 days, the points go right back on your credit score. So it's a temporary hit. It's not even it's not what people think. Like, you hear all these horror stories like, oh, I pulled my credit, the scores dropped 40 points. No, that's not what happened. They might be looking at Credit Karma, and Credit Karma had a higher credit score. And then when I pulled it, the mortgage score came out and it was 40 points lower than Credit Karma, but it wasn't because the inquiry cost them 40 points. It says right on the credit bureaus, 2 to 5 points, right? And it says right on the credit bureaus, within 60 days, the points go right back on your credit. So don't even get into that argument with people. Just say, that's fine. He doesn't need to pull credit. That's but let me know if you have that conversation. So I'm not trying to pull their credit. Don't let credit be something that keeps them from going through the pre-approval process.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Literally, I tell clients, I go, look, if you're worried about that, let's do a soft pull. And exactly what Josh just said, explain to them, just say, hey, look, just be upfront with them, let them know where you're at, and you're good to go, and then when you're ready, then we'll pull the trigger and we'll go for the hard pull.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to add part of what you had mentioned, George, and a little bit of what Annabelle just shared. I think we have to be thoughtful that a lot of things that are, common knowledge among realtors just aren't amongst buyers. And you guys would be surprised. I mean, there's a lot of folks out there, especially if they're a first-time buyer, they don't even understand like that their pre-approval dollar amount, their interest rate could vary lender to lender. So, that's another thing. Like right now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting that we're going to wait until rates come down to, continue moving forward in the process, et cetera. And, that's a great opportunity to just say, well, do you mind if I ask, have you guys done any rate shopping, or is that a conversation you've had yet? And then kind of take the in and just kind of help them understand, as a consumer, you can explore and make sure that you're getting the best opportunity to accomplish your goals within your budget. But people don't realize that. And that's, an area I think that we can at least introduce the conversation and possibly see, can Josh with PGS get them a more competitive rate or a more competitive pre-approval amount? And then the other piece was, George mentioned when we use that language of like preferred lender or something, and making sure the client doesn't take that as we have like an investment or a kickback with them. The client I just recently sent over to them, I just shared with her, I said, they're one of our preferred partner lenders. And what that means is we've consistently worked with clients with them and they deliver the level of experience that we expect our clients to have. Like I make sure they understand it's more from a customer service and a level of expertise that we feel confident they're going to deliver a great experience. And that helps, make sure that they don't get any like, oh, well, is there something in it for you for sending me to Josh? No, it's just, we have a high level of experience we want our customers and our clients to have, and we trust Josh to deliver that.
Yeah, great comments. And another thing you could add to that too is that, hey, he's beholden to our team. It's not just this one file, it's all the files. And if, he's got to give his best every single time, otherwise the relationship's at jeopardy. So I don't know if you guys like to add that, but that is the reality. Then that's a great segue. Any other questions on conversion stuff? I wanted to show you guys something. I saw this yesterday and I thought this was so cool and so true that I wanted to break it all down and share it with you guys as well. So this whole market opportunity that we're in with the rising rates, which stinks, the month of February is a bloodbath. Interest rates jumped up 1.25 in 1 month. No fun at all. It's really stunk. And we're hoping that this next coming week, we start getting some reports coming out, the jobs reports and more inflation reports, where we start to see interest rates start to turn and improve again. That'd be really nice. But one thing that I really, truly believe is the fact that there is so much opportunity right now. And I know we're already seeing multiple offers, people going over list, but as rates go lower, which they will, I truly believe that's only going to intensify. So the fact still remains that right now is an incredible time to buy, in my opinion. So let me share my screen really quick. And let me see if I can go like this.
Hey, Josh, real quick on what you're saying. George and I, we went to this event with the real, launch, and there was a lender there that was talking about what you're getting ready to start sharing. And one of the big things is, everyone keeps talking about rates going down, but the reality is, in order to get things to cool down, rates are going to have to go back up again. And it's probably going to be about an 18-month ordeal to try and calm stuff back down. So what you're saying right now is the time really to truly buy, because it's going to get to a point to where rates are going to go back up, not super uncomfortably, obviously, but to a point where people that couldn't buy right now, they can't buy there, and then of course the market starts to cool back down, then we normalize. Because if you drop a point, what happens? People start going crazy and they start frantic, they start buying. That's what we need to cool down. People need to understand that.
Yeah. So, and I think that by end of second quarter, rates are going to be back down in the low fives, maybe even, somewhere in that range. I think we're going to start seeing some really good runs on rates after May, but we'll see how it goes. But anyways, this little smiley graph right here, you guys, this represents and hopefully you can see my cursor. Can you see my cursor on the screen or no?
Yeah.
Very cool. This represents the decline of the market. This represents the bottom of the market. And this represents when the market starts going back up again, right? A lot of people still think we're in the decline. A lot of us think that we're at the bottom. Not many people think that we are on the way back up, but I actually believe that we are on the way back up. I think we're probably right around here, right? So before the market started declining, did you know we had 121 months in a row of appreciation? 121 months. That's bonkers. We're now at like 7 to 8 months of appreciation slowing down or values dropping, whatever you want to call it, right? And then the question is, where's the bottom? Where's this bottom going to be? And so let's assume that none of us are good enough to pick what the exact bottom is going to be, right? So let's resign ourselves to the fact that we're probably going to miss the exact bottom. And as buyers, it's almost impossible to time it. And there's no way that you can hit the bottom and then get your offer accepted at the exact same time, right? So where do buyers miss? Okay. Most clients are going to wait until we start going after the bottom. It's come up and it's real safe. And it's nice because interest rates are going down and home prices are starting to go up and they're confident that they haven't reached the bottom. But as we all know, when you wait till things are going up, sellers are more confident, you're getting more offers, and it becomes more difficult to buy. How many people, what was the stat? Did you guys ever see a stat on how many people bought during COVID and they were resentful that they bought during COVID because they were forced into a home that they really didn't like? Well, that's what they're going to get again if they wait until things start appreciating, right? So the right time, so most clients are going to wait until the market starts to come off the bottom. But the problem with waiting after the bottom is that the sellers are going to be more confident, there's going to be more competition, and the prices are going to start climbing back up, right? The right time is before we hit the bottom, right in this trough right here, because they're going to have so much more opportunity. And I truly, truly believe we're probably right about here, right? And then what I wanted to show you guys too is that let's look at the last time we went through this cycle of home prices going down. So after that whole great crash of 2007, 8, and 9, home prices went down for a while, right? But once it went down and once it made that turn, we literally had a 10-year run of home prices going up. And I'm not predicting that we're going to have another 10-year run. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is that once it turns and starts going up, once rates go back down, it takes off. And let's look at the differences between the last downturn and this downturn. And all I got to show you on the last downturn versus this one is that nationwide, there was 2.4 million homes for sale across the country. This time, there's 980,000 homes for sale across the country. And we still have that, the seller reluctance, what are they calling that? Sorry, I've said it like 3 times already today. Where sellers have a 2.75, 2.993%, and they don't want to sell their house and go take a 5.75. And so as rates go down, I think it's going to be becoming more and more and more competitive, and people are going to get squeezed out of buying. So I know it's tough to convince people to buy and that this is the right time. I don't know if these slides would help you guys at all. If you like them, I'll send them to you. But it's just, it goes to show what a great opportunity we truly are in right now. Yes, rates are higher, but lower rates are coming. And if they got to pay, if someone's got to pay, $5,000, let's say it's $500, $600 extra per month in a mortgage now, and can refinance 12 months to 18 months from now, but home prices appreciate $20,000 in the next 2 years, they just saved $15,000, plus got into a house that they like, plus avoided the appreciation of the home going up, etc. So I truly believe it's a fantastic time to buy a home. Finding ways to convince agents of that, that's what we got to do. So if you guys send them my way, these are some of the things that I like to talk to the clients about. Hope that helps.
So I'm going to go right into kind of what I was going to talk about because it goes off of that chart. So what a lot of you guys need to do, and what I've been showing my clients is, yes, the rates are up, but really that's not what's driving this market. What's driving the market right now is this. Look at the inventory that has gone down since, I mean, it's just continuing to go down. And this is I pulled up 4 different markets and it's all the same across the board. So there's Santee. So if we pull up El Cajon, what's going on? All right.
George,
Still same thing, going down.
George, something I was going to mention, and I think I saw it in Keeping Current Matters or somewhere. This was a while ago, but after the crash, or it was during the crash, they were mentioning that home builders stopped building homes, and that was the first time in like 50 years. And so now it's kind of a catch up. So from what I had read, that it was like it's going to be a good 5 years before we even see anywhere where we're getting inventory to a level that's not considered low inventory. I don't remember the article. I don't remember where I just kind of saw that, and I was like,
yeah, no, and you're correct. And builders right now are not building at the levels they should. I believe, I don't remember who I spoke to. What did we talk about this the other day, Josh? Where it was KB Homes said that they're not building in California because of permit issues. The cost of material, their margins are so thin and tight where they can go to Alabama and build, triple the amount of homes and make a bigger return at a lower price point.
No, that was the event we went to. Remember?
Okay. Yeah.
That's the guy I'm talking about.
So basically, to go kind of piggyback off of what Gary's saying, is the builders are slowing down in certain markets, and we are one of them, especially because, as you can see from our solds post that was just posted on Instagram, we just opened escrow on how many new builds or closed on new builds, where 2 years ago, good luck getting a new build. Now there's so much sitting inventory of new builds, but that's because it's harder to get the prices are higher, Melloru's are higher, and they're still giving incentives, but buyers aren't doing it. It's an interesting dynamic of the price difference between a new build and a resale home in the current market, because builders are not dropping their prices. So they're not staying with the market. At least that's what I've seen. And that's why they have some standing inventory. But, people aren't willing to pay that higher price right now when they can go get a resale home for 100,000 less, same square footage, neighborhood, but 2 years newer or older. But to kind of go into what I was going with the inventory, it's a supply and demand issue currently. To go to kind of Josh's point of why it's a good time to buy now, low inventory, right? The prices are ticking up, but interest rates are keeping buyers, less competition a little bit. But what do you think is going to happen if we have low inventory and low interest rates? It's going to be ugly, right? It's going to be back to a bloodbath, like Josh was saying. So what you need to tell these people is kind of what, to reiterate what Josh was saying, low inventory, you can still negotiate things going on currently. Yes, you have a higher interest rate. Try for a 2-1 buy down. Try for a 1-1 buy down. Try the different options that are going to make that first or second year of that person's payment, going to be decently affordable. And then in hopes you can refi out. And still you got a crazy deal on the purchase because the house is going to appreciate. Because I agree with Josh. I think we are on the up. I think we already did bottom out. At least that's what I'm seeing in most markets currently.
That's something we talked about yesterday, George. Is this open for everybody out on the Zoom call?
Yeah.
What areas of San Diego are clients getting offers accepted easily? Or is it all over San Diego? It just has to be if the house is priced right.
I'm gonna talk a little bit. I think I've been had the last 3 weeks with my buyers. I've been in multiple offer situations, every single one. I think we're getting back to, you need to make sure your terms are great, because the most recent one I just put under contract on Saturday, we were one of 3 offers. We weren't the highest, but our terms were better than all the other offers. So they took our offer. And I think we are going to get back to that. No, you don't need to go crazy and start waiving everything, but at least make sure your timelines are tight. Make sure your inspection contingency 7 to 10 days. Make sure your appraisal is 12 days minimum, like maximum. Obviously, you have some wiggle room if you need to, get out of that and get it to 14 days or whatever, but make sure initially it's tight. Your loan approval, talk to your lender. If it's not Josh, make sure that lender knows, hey, this offer we're putting in, we need to be tight. And then ensure the lender that you're going to do your part to make sure your clients submit the docs when they need to, the importance of everyone being on the same page. Because when you start doing these tight turnarounds, if you're not heavily involved with your clients submitting their docs to the lender, I can tell you the lender's not going to be invested in you to hit those timelines. It's going to be, I can't speak for anyone outside of Josh really, but I can tell you other lenders I've dealt with, they don't really care. Like you could put your timelines as whatever you want. So you can do a 7-day inspection, 12-day appraisal on a 14-day loan. I could tell you outside lenders are going to look at that and be like, okay, I'll get it to you when I can. If I don't get it, then, it's kind of your problem, not mine. And the way I've worked with other lenders, like if your buyers choose another lender, be very upfront with them and say, hey, I'm going to have tight turnarounds, but I'm going to ensure that my client gets you those documents when they need to. Because then you're going to have more investment from the banker too, right? They're going to want to work with you. So I think to answer your question, Josh, I've been in Valley Center, Claremont, Oceanside. Those 3 markets, in my opinion, are getting multiple offers anywhere from 800,000 and below. Claremont is going to be a sweet spot between 700 and $1 million. Those are multiple offers. Anything above $1 million is sitting. So you need to look at your price points. Bring up these charts and look. If I look at Carlsbad, for example, right? Obviously, different zip codes are going to matter, but I'm grouping them all together. Look at your, oh man, I hate this. Look at your price points here, right? Anywhere at 1.4 is days on market, 10 days. Carlsbad's popping off with anything in that price point between anything up to about 1.4 million. You get above 1.4 and you're looking at 1.6, it's sitting for 31 days, right? And then the 2.5, we kind of talked about this last week. Those are going to be your outliers of, there's not that much there. And then the abovers, the above, in the 5 million range, you don't really have that many homes in that market. So these are good things to look at. So where your buyers are going to be. Because I think, Annabelle, you and I talked about this a little bit down out in Ramona, right? Your clients hitting certain sweet spots where you are going to tell them like, yes, the news is going to tell you that it's a slowing market, prices are dropping, competition's not there, but that's nationwide. You need to be more hyper focused on not only zip codes, but neighborhoods. Even neighborhoods have big differences of what's moving quick and what's not. Is it an HOA community? Is it not? Is it in an HOA community that has a ton of amenities? Is it one that has a small HOA with no amenities so the buyer can actually handle a $100 payment versus a $350, HOA in a single family home community? I think those are all hyper focused things that we need to look at with our buyers. Kind of like what Gary was saying though, like take them out one weekend, show them whatever they want to see, but then the conversations after that have to be, maybe this isn't the neighborhood we should be looking at because you don't like the HOA or the fees, or, it is going to knock your payment up, $400 a month. So those I think are great. Every single area that I've looked at in San Diego, if you plug it in here, you're going to see it's still all considered a seller's market. So anybody that tells you it's a buyer's market currently, you just need to bring them back to the index and show them it's not going to be a buyer's market until we have the amount of homes to sell. And, the affordability is there, which I don't see happening, kind of like Gary said, for the next 5 years. We just don't have the inventory.
Yeah.
But I would like to hear from some people on this call, because I know a lot of you guys have been doing open houses.
Ooh.
How have your open houses been going in the certain areas? And I know I talked to Bo. Let me, I need to stop this. Okay. Let me get back to this. So I talked to Bo yesterday, and then I'll have, I don't know if anybody on here is actually doing open houses, but over the weekend, he had his listing at 1.18 million. He had 60 people through, and he had 5 offers on the property. So that price point, I mean, yes, the home was, you know, it had a sweet pool, it's got owned solar, it's got a big lot, but there's not much inventory in that just immediate area. And then if you go on the out, because it's in Escondido, if you go on the outskirts of Escondido, there are homes sitting. But his immediate area in the hidden, I think it's hidden woods, hidden meadows, whatever that community is, they're moving quick. And I was actually shocked when he told me 60 people through on a $1.18 million home in Escondido. Like, that was kind of mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
Anyone else have anything to share? Open houses, showings, buyers, anything with that? No. I know some of you guys are out showing houses though, so.
I've heard a lot of open houses having lots of traffic come through them as well.
Yeah.
Can I share something on affordability really quick? Because you just said something, George, and I thought this was really, really good info.
Yeah.
Watch this, you guys. If you bought a $750,000 home with 20% down and rates were back at 3.25%, right? That payment was $3,504. $3,504. Would everybody agree that we could say home prices have gone down 10%? Maybe that's a little aggressive, but can we just say 10%?
Yeah.
So let's take that $750,000 home minus 10%. That makes it a $675,000 home, right? 675. Put that 20% down, right? But raise that rate up to 6.5%. And your payment is at $4,217. So even with a 10% price decline in San Diego County, the monthly payment is still $700 more than it was back when rates were at 3.25%. And we're seeing multiple offers. And I bring this up because they love to talk about affordability. Okay. And people keep saying, oh, the home prices are going to keep coming down because nobody can afford these homes, right? But the reality is that as rates go down, the ability for home prices to go up is so much greater because they can afford it and the affordability is there. It's just a matter of what's going to happen when rates go back down. And when rates go back down, the home prices are going to go up, period.
Can I say one thing before we hop off here? I spoke with Sherry, I think it was yesterday, and we were talking about a little bit about where your clients are looking at price point wise. Like if their max approval is at 800,000, are they looking at 800,000 now? Do we need to shift that mindset back to looking at 725, 750, 775 so that you have wiggle room? I think to answer that question a little deeper, I think it's going to matter on neighborhoods, zip codes, hyper focused on the areas, because my Oceanside one, I got at list price. So we didn't have to go crazy. And I think as agents, we need to know what areas we're serving, where our clients are looking, and be super hyper focused on that. If you're not checking the MLS weekly, daily, checking pendings, checking days on market, houses that have been relisted so that, you know, you're seeing, okay, it sat for 3 months. Now it's days on market is 1 day. You know, you gotta make sure you see that too and inform your clients. Like, look, I understand this is 1 day on market with the same price that it's been sitting for 3 months. So you just need to be super hyper focused on knowing your inventory, knowing your areas, and I mean, I check the MLS morning, midday, and night. 3 times a day. So that's what I'll leave you with, because I think we're out of time now.
Cool. I hope that helped. Is that okay?
Thank
Cool.
you.
If you guys want, if you want the PGS app, shoot me a text. I'll send it over to you. Also, Manicure Monday is coming up. If you guys have not signed up, sign
I'm
up.
signed up. Can't
We're
wait.
gonna go send
need it.
another we're gonna send another round of Manicure Monday out, and then
Hey,
big
Josh, would
announcement.
you be able to post that in the Slack channel too, the PGS Home Loan Slack channel? I think a lot of agents will be able to see it that way too.
Yes, I will figure out how to
Perfect.
do that. I'm not the Slack master, but I'll try my
Call
best.
me and I can help you.
Okay, cool. And then, hey, remember, 10 spot, there's only 3 slots, 10 people per slot. That's all we have. So it's first come, first serve, get in there. Also, if you guys are basketball fans, which even if you're not, it's still fun. We're doing the PGS NCAA basketball bracket. Huge prizes for the winners. So make sure you guys sign up and pick your brackets. That won't be until like later next week. And then we're going to do a lunch and learn at the end of the month, what I'm really excited about as well. Not the first time home buyer one that we're talking about, George, one I'm doing for all the agents later on. So
Cool.
that is it. Call us if you need something. Always around to help. Thank you guys so much for listening to us talk.
Cool. Thank you. Check y'all
Thanks,
later.
everyone.
Thanks,
All the
Thank you,
guys.
best, you guys.
Josh.
Bye.
Bye.